Here today with Coach Brad Smithey of the West Oso Bears. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great, Tony. I appreciate you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. The last time we talked, the world was just really turning upside down. So things have calmed down a little bit. And you had accepted the position at West Oso, but you were still at Victoria West. So let's go into a little bit. We haven't talked since then. So how was the transition getting in there at West SO, and just how's it been settling in?
Definitely was an experience. Getting in, I got hired late May, so I was already kind of a late hire. And then obviously with the pandemic setting in, we're full fledged at that point. I got down there and we started summer workouts for about 3 days. And then after that third day, we got shut down again and was told that we wouldn't be able to pick anything back up until that first day of practice. So I got a chance to at least see a couple of the kids leading up to that point. We tried to do Zoom workouts that summer just to try to get to know some of them. But man, my first true day of being around the athletes there was the first day of practice, and which is actually kind of funny because my first week at West Oso, officially when we started practice, I was actually in quarantine. So I missed the whole first week of actual practice. We were actually in a coaching shortage at that point. So it was a battle. First year was a battle, had a lot of things stacked against us. And even up until late March last year, we were still a virtual school. So this is the first true off season we've got to have. And we made a lot of progress being able to go all summer and also April and May last year. So, things have kind of started to fall into place finally. The kids have gotten to see what kind of program I want. They've bought into it. We got, great numbers out right now. Things are happening that are good around here. Kids are bought into the weight room. They're all in on other sports as well. We're preaching that multi-sport athlete to them, and things have just gotten real well. I mean, the kids are competing their tails off. They're working their tails off, and got some great kids here and got some great coaches as well.
Now, one of the things I'm trying to do in these interviews is hit home the almost nomadic nature of coaching high school football. And while personally, your high school coaching career is a great example of that, you grew up in a coaching family with your dad being a head coach at several different places. So you kind of get you've experienced that nomad lifestyle from head on.
Definitely. Being a coach's kid growing up, it was kind of like the movie Friday Night Lights when they're walking out of the grocery store and the daughter says to the dad, "Are we moving again?" And it's kind of happened that way for us. We never really stayed anywhere too long. And I always said it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I got to live in a lot of different places, got to experience a lot of different cultures, living in poor areas, living in rich areas, living in country areas, living in city areas. And I all think it kind of contributed to helping me become the coach I am, because I did get to experience all those different scenarios and got to relate to a bunch of different people, which has helped me in understanding, student athletes wherever I go.
Now, you're a young guy, but still you're the head football coach there, so you're responsible for the entire football program. That means the players, yes, but one aspect that a lot of people don't really think of, you're as equally responsible for coaching the coaches and preparing those coaches for whatever's coming next in their career. So talk a little bit about taking that kind of a mentor role at such a young age.
So, obviously my age, I feel, I am young, but because of the stops I've made, the places I've been, obviously growing up in the profession and seeing it from multiple aspects, through multiple people, through my parents. My uncle was one. Both my brothers are coaches. I feel like I have a really good grasp on this, profession and what it can do for you. So when I got into this role, I never felt like the young guy. I always felt like I've been preparing for this day, kind of my entire life. I knew at a young age, hey, I was either going to go play in the NFL or be a football coach. And we all kind of knew the odds of the first one. So I've always been prepping myself for that second one. And man, just kind of, like the staff I have now, we're relatively young. I got a lot of hungry and greedy, they're just wanting to, not necessarily greedy, but just wanting to work their way up the chain. And that's the kind of people I want to set myself around, because I want those people who are constantly hungry to take that next step and do more, and, try to help, mentor them in a way that, hey, if this is where you want to get, you got to work a little bit more. You got to do a little bit more than the next guy. Not necessarily saying putting in the hours on the weekends or whatever, but you always got to be willing to learn. And I think that's one thing I've learned even as a young head coach is, I don't know it all, and I'm never going to claim to know it all. And a lot of times we got to push that pride aside and be able to, hear the opinions of others, because that's why we hired coaches. We hired them to help us grow as well as help them grow. And if we put ourselves around, kind of a bunch of yes men or whatever, we're not going to be there. We're going to be kind of at a standstill. So I think trying to get them to understand that, hey, opinions are good. Obviously, know when to use them, when not to. Learn kind of that chain, of command, and fall in line and speak, when you feel is necessary, and kind of learn and grow from that aspect.
All right. Well, realignment just happened. So you were in a tough district past couple of years with Sinton, Ingleside, Rock Clarksville. UIL put you in a smaller district. You're now in with Sinton, Ingleside, Orange Grove, Robstown. What do you think about your chances for being in the playoffs this year?
Obviously, with the smaller district, you obviously feel better as, just as a numerical standpoint of getting in. But I'll tell you, even if we were in the district that we were in last year, we've kind of taken the steps that we were competitive last year. Me and the coaches around here, we kind of talk. When you're building a program, it seems like it always happens in 3 steps. The first year, you're usually weeding out some things, trying to get your culture straight, and you may take your lumps and your bruises, you move on. Then the second year, you kind of start to establish your program. You become competitive, and at a place that's not traditionally used to winning in football, is teaching these kids how to win. And out of our 7 losses, 4 of them, we lost in the fourth quarter. Could have went either way. And so we took that next step. So we really believe we have a group this year that's going to take that step of winning those close games and pulling out those ones. And man, we got all 5 linemen coming back, which is awesome. When you talk about football, we have a really good running back coming back, and we have a lot of young guys who are going to be able to pull their weight and support around. And we're really excited about this group. We think that we can make some noise this year.
Okay. Well, you touched on it a little bit, but you brought it up again. So you've been around your dad and other programs and seen head coaches come in and need to make those changes that make that program their program and what they need to be successful. How hard was that to do for you in that first year with COVID? Almost like you didn't really get a chance to do a lot of those things that first year.
Oh, it was extremely tough. I'm big on relationship building and, making sure the kids know that I'm there for them more than as a coach. And when you don't get that person-to-person interaction, you don't get to go and have the meals at a coach's house. You don't get to take the team out to dinners or, do, fun activities with them during the weekdays or any of that, because you were limited to the person-on-person, contact. It made it very difficult because you didn't get to really build the true relationships that you would hope to. Because you could text, you can call or whatever, But you, as well as me, know that a lot of the relationships come from being able to build, in person, especially in an area that I'm in it now. They really like to see when you're there. Like, I'll go to a baseball game now, and even if I try to dip out early, I'm gonna have one or two of the baseball kids text me, "Coach, I know you left early, but this happened." Like, they're very aware of who's around them and who's supporting them. So not being able to really do that the first year, I definitely felt that it hurt. And it was something that we kind of put into a forefront of focus going into the second year to make sure that we spent that extra time. We, put aside some activities where we just got to enjoy each other's company more than just making it all about business.
I forget who said it, but it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. But let's talk a little X's and O's. What can we look for schematics that might be a little different than without giving away your game plan? That might be a little different.
I mean, we'll continue to run the offensive system we've ran. It grew immensely. Matter of fact, on Dave Campbell's in 11-man football, we were the 21st most improved offense. We went from 9 points a game to over 30 points a game this year. Because, like I said, the kids now have understood it. They buy into it. We could go out tomorrow during the period and rip out our day one install. So they've got to where they know it like the back of their hand. So we'll continue just to build upon what we've been using, like I said, with all 5 linemen coming back, an experienced running back and a quarterback who got the varsity experience last year. We really feel like we'll be able to take that next step even more as an offense. Defensively, we're going to transition back to our 3-4 to where we were. And I'm excited to see we got some new parts, new additions on the defensive side that I'm excited about. And I'm not going to say it yet because it ain't official yet, but we hired our DC. So I'm really excited about the guy that we got. He's very, very big into relationships. He can talk ball with any of them, but I think the most impressive thing was hearing the other coaches that he knows talk about how great he was in building young men and getting them to play for him. And so I'm excited to have him along.
All right. So tell me a couple of names I'm going to read in the Corpus Christi Caller on Saturday mornings as well.
Definitely our running back, Elijah Huff. He's a big time player. He's fast. He's explosive. He's got great vision. He's definitely somebody who he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially, like I said, behind our offensive line. We have a big, tall receiver, 6'4", kid named Josh Williams, who'll be a junior. Looking for him to kind of have a big breakout year along with our quarterback, Devin Martinez. And then we got some young guys that we're excited about on the defensive end that we think are going to do some great things up front with Joel Lovetta. We got this kid named Jared Pettit, who's a force at the defensive end position. And then we'll have a couple of new guys in the back end, Jordan Jackson, Elijah Smith, and a Robert Romero, who, we're really excited about and think that they're going to do some great things for us.
All right. Well, now, most important question. You were in Brazosport. Now you're in Corpus Christi. Neither of those places very far from the Gulf. So which place has better seafood?
Oh, that one's tough. Each of them have their ups and their downs. But I will have to say right now, I'll have to give Corpus the upper hand. Now, when it comes to the crawfish, I may have to give Brazosport in the Freeport area the upper hand when it's crawfish. But as far as strictly seafood, I'll probably have to hand it down here to Corpus, especially when you head out to the Snoopies in that area down there towards, Port A, or not Port A, but Mustang Island.
So what's favorite seafood restaurant?
Ooh. My favorite seafood restaurant right now is a Surf and Crab. Man, Surf and Crab is right down the house, which was a mistake from the start for me because I'll load up on some crab fries and then knock out a nice bowl.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks very much for your time, and hope to make it down and see you sometime soon.
Yes, sir. You're more than welcome. I'll get you some red and black and hook you up with some West Oso gear. Make sure we deck you out.
All right. Catch you later, Coach.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Tony.